Welcome to the Be Ruthless Show, where we have the conversations that other people don't, the conversations that other people won't. I'm your host, Sam Ruth, and I'm ready to make a lot of noise and disrupt things, ruthlessly. Thanks for being here today. Now let's get to it. Welcome back to the Be Ruthless Show. I'm your host, Sam Ruth. And if you're listening with me live on the last day of January and we're expecting a guest, I apologize. I do not like to pre-record episodes. I like to come to you in real time and talk about things that are happening in the world. And as you know, people have lives, people get sick, things come up. So the guest that I have will be with us in a couple of weeks. If you were looking forward to seeing her, it's a really important topic, and we will be with you to talk about children not by choice in a couple of weeks. Today, I want to talk about technology, and oh my God, I use it for so many amazing things, keeping in touch with and being able to see, people I love near and far, but that I cannot physically spend time with, right? I use it to do things like this and communicate with people. I use it to write books. I use it for so many things. You can watch multiple football games, right? And get highlights of many things. If you're sports fans, there's just so many amazing things. There's also a lot of, headaches. For me, literal and figurative headaches. The minute I created this online component of my business, I began getting way more migraines. I've had them my whole life, but sitting at a screen, had to get my glasses adjusted and get blue light lenses because instantly, like within days, my eyes, neck, everything, all about it, I was feeling the pain. But there's also other things that can be affected. And so today, I want to talk about Unplugged. Maybe 6, 7, 8 days ago, I'm not the best with time. I've never been great with concept of time. And then add losing Jim to that equation, it just went right out the window. So unless it's something that is a birthday or something that is an exact date that I know, I will admit that I could be a little bit off. So in the recent last 5 to 10 days, let's say, in my neighborhood, somehow or another, a wire got cut. So we were literally out of Wi-Fi. We were cut off from communicating with the world because I am in Colorado, if you don't know that, in the middle of the mountains, which is amazing. And I would not change a thing about it. And I guess if you're anywhere and your Wi-Fi is cut off, it's a pain, right? But I think if you're in a big city, it's pretty easy to get close to someone else's. Not where I am. I'm in northern Colorado. Next city isn't the closest. It's not the farthest. I am not absolutely in the middle of nowhere. I can get to anything I need, not Wi-Fi. It affected that, right? So I loved it, right? Once I could let the people I know who care about me, that, once I could tell them, hey, all's good, in case you can't reach me or my responses are delayed, I'm enjoying the mental vacation, right? The mental vacation. It was why, right? I can set my phone down, and I do. Every single morning and night, I make a decision, a conscious decision that I made years ago, not minutes, years ago, that I unplug and stay away from my phone. I want time in the morning to devote to myself and to my pups, to have like not getting caught up in the negative yuck. I don't want to look at my email. I don't want to get a notification and get pulled into any app or social media or chat or anything. And it is possible for all of us. I'll tell you why. For me, I'm OCD. If you know me, you know it. And I don't like seeing the little notifications on my screen. I just want to make them go away. So I will go somewhere to just make the number go away. But then you see something and you look, it just happens. And then 20 minutes are gone. And I don't want my mornings or my evenings spent that way. I want to wake up, do healthy routines that are important for my state of mind, not only for that time, but for the day, for the week, for me overall, for my calm, for my balance, for how I deal. And then at night to unwind, to like let go of the day, to decompress, to just unwind, and then to not get ready for sleep, but to let it all go so that I'll have a good sleep, so that my mind is not taking any of that to bed. I want that gone away. Like certain things are not allowed. Think about crumbs. Like I don't want crumbs in my bed. I don't want any mental yuck in my bed either. That's like seriously what it is. So I do that. No phone, this many minutes, at least an hour in the morning and at night, before wake up, before good night. Always. I have healthy habits. I meditate, I journal, I spend tons of time outside in nature. It's a part of my regular life. However, shutting my brain off is not something I've ever been good at. Relaxing, not good at. Turning things off, like not having ideas, bad. Not good at it. Like I have sticky notes everywhere. I have notes in my phone everywhere. You cannot tell people like me, people who write, people who are creative, people who have certain type of minds. I'm not trying to leave anyone out. Like to turn it off, sometimes we just can't help it. And we'll pop up in the middle of trying to do something relaxing to go jot something down. And it drives everyone else nuts because they're trying to spend time with us and we promised we wouldn't do it, right? So like Wi-Fi gone, mind was off. I still have pen and paper. I still have a brain. I still had ideas and creativity, and those didn't turn off. They might have even been better, but other things, emails were unavailable, notifications were unavailable, accepting calls from people I may or may not have wanted to think about whether I wanted to answer were unavailable. Like all of those options were unavailable. Now I make myself available and unavailable consciously for things daily. Like I said, these are part of my practice that I am like so aware of. Yet you remove Wi-Fi and I was able to unplug, relax, a lot better, much better. So those of you who are like me, who are like, oh my God, that's me. I pop up at 3 a.m. and I have to write myself a note. And I'm sitting with my family and we're trying to do this. And I have to jump up and go write myself a note. It drives my husband crazy. Like if that's you, we have a do not disturb button on our phone. We can turn our Wi-Fi off. We have these options. I just learned it. And I thought I was pretty good. I thought I was pretty darn good at unplugging. I learned I am not as good as I thought at it. Life is always a lesson. We are constantly growing. I know this. And I was focusing on other areas. So I took this, right? Like this did not happen for Sam Ruth sitting here in her house in Colorado, but I took it like it did. I was like, oh, thank you, universe. Like, Jim, thank you for the sign. This happened just for me, all by my lonesome, sitting here with my dogs, just for me. I needed this lesson. The universe works for us. Always. My clients, it is so hard to see this in the thick of it when we're struggling, when bad things happen, right? Like, especially if you needed Wi-Fi. I had appointments. I had meetings. I needed my Wi-Fi. Certainly did. Some things I chose, like, okay, I am not having this meeting in Starbucks. Other meetings I had. It was an inconvenience. It was also the biggest gift. The universe is working for us. There are other things that are far more painful, like, couple weeks, months ago, again, there goes my concept of time. I talked about a situation where a loose dog, no owner, came charging at me out of nowhere and out of my two dogs protecting me and this loose dog, I am the one who was injured and bleeding on the ground. Like, how is that the universe working for me? Well, maybe had that not happened, something else would have. I don't know what was around the corner if that felt like 40 minutes of agony. It could have been 4 minutes. I don't know, right? Again, my concept of time. But maybe something else would have happened that was bigger, worse. I don't know. The universe is always working for us. If you choose to believe this and you accept and believe it consistently. Consistently is an extremely key word. And I'm going to use an example here, again, in real life, real time, that might mean nothing to some people, might piss some people off, and I hope others will hear this and get it. A lot of people, after a loss like the Lions had, are pissed off, and a lot of people like to blame. And so if you watched the game, there are decisions that can be made, there are play calls, and so people like to blame the coach. I like to say, thank you for an amazing season. The coach did what he did. Now, I will also say I was pissed. Like, there are some calls in the moment, oh my God, why did we do that? He did it the whole season long. He played a certain way, called plays a certain way, aggressively, consistently, 100% of the time. If he did it some of the time and not all of the time, it doesn't work. You wonder, you scratch your head. If you do it all of the time and you're committed, you do not question yourself. This is how Jim also played blackjack, right? There are calls you will question. If you play blackjack, some people hit a 16, some people don't. If you make a decision and you do it consistently, people will roll their eyes either way, right? Like Jim taught me, if the dealer has a 10, people either do or don't. He did 100% of the time. Other people at the table would groan and, roll their eyes. But if you do it consistently 100% of the time, some of the time, according to Jim and the statistics, you're gonna win more than you're gonna lose. According to the Lions play calling, they were gonna win more than they were gonna lose. And they did throughout the season. In this game, didn't work. So we don't have to blame or point fingers if we can look at it that way. If you live life and you make a decision and you do things consistently, and that is how you can stand by it. I consistently believe the universe is working for me. You do not have to, right? But I'm going to stand by it. And there's times it's going to be harder than others. And there's things that I'm going to question that might make way, way, way more sense to you, to me, to anyone down the road. It doesn't matter if I just choose to live it consistently. If you cannot, you don't consistently. But when we waver, when we go back and forth, when we put one foot in and then we take it out, then it's easy to constantly question, because it's going to work sometimes and not the other. Life is that way. So we have to find what we believe in. And I truly believe and took this as a lesson and as something that I wouldn't have looked at, right? I was focusing on other things, and this is an area I thought I was pretty successful at. Not like checked off my list. I never have room to grow in this area, but it's not an area I would have thought to look at. Certainly not right now, when there's other areas that I maybe thought mattered more. If this area is ignored, those areas won't get met ever. Like self-care and turning my mind off and relaxing and taking care of me, like that has to get done. In that time, I recharged just like our phones do, right? Just like technology does. And I also had $1,000,000 ideas, right? I had things that can't come to me when I'm not fully recharged, right? If I'm at 50%, I'm not going to get those thoughts, those places when I'm running on empty, if I'm constantly focusing on the other areas. It's a lesson that needed to happen. It's an area I might not have looked at for a really, really long time. And let me tell you this, I have been saying, I need a break. I need a break. I need a break. I need a vacation. Universe listened. I'm not on a beach. I've been saying that too. Universe, listen anytime. I need a beach. I need a beach, right? I do say pay attention to your words, listen to what we put out there. So I just want you to pay attention and think about how you relax and how you unplug, and if you shut your mind off. I know my mind will never shut off. I will always, have another idea for my book or another idea that's creative. My creative mind goes, but my to-do list and my notifications, that mind can be put on do not disturb. I can go on a mental vacation without going to the beach. I can unplug without taking a literal vacation. We can give ourselves those gifts without waiting until we have the full break. I don't have to wait until I have time to get away, to take a mini getaway. So it's also maybe a gift from the universe, because this is a really important topic. This is an important episode. Share this with someone who needs to hear this, please. Write a review so that people out there who need to hear this understand important parts of our mental health that we don't talk about. We don't need to wait. We don't need to only talk about a diagnosis or inpatient care or mental illness. We need to talk about the daily mental health issues. And I'll end with the fact that you can still get your grief hab awareness calendar, but I began this month talking about the Little Things Mental Health campaign and all the little things that we can do to stay on track and honor our mental health. And this is one of them. Little moments that we can acknowledge that make us smile, and little moments that we can take to unplug, that we don't have to wait for a week to be on a beach, that we can find those times so that we don't burn out and feel overwhelmed and our brain go and spin and be on overload. I really needed it. I didn't know how much I needed it. I enjoyed it. You know, I know people missed me and I had to rearrange some things and I apologize, but I'm not going to apologize for enjoying it. The universe also gives us what we need when we need it. And so I did learn the lesson, and I am not going to make the mistake and leave this out of my schedule ever. I'm not going to wait until the beach comes, right? So thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of this world. Team Ruthless meets tonight. If you're listening live, join us. There's a bonus meeting with Angel Energy Healing with Shalini tomorrow. If you are listening to replays, we meet every Wednesday, every Saturday, once a month for Angel Energy Healing. And we're meeting on Valentine's Day. So you do not have to be alone. If you don't have plans, join us from 5 to 7 Mountain Time for an extra long Team Ruthless group. And until next time, always be ruthless. Thanks so much for listening today. Your support means everything to me, truly. If this podcast resonates with you, please do me a favor and join in the Ruthless movement by making some noise and doing one of these 4 things. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Tell a friend so we can break stigmas even faster. Leave a review so people can see what you think of the show. And last, if you want to learn more about me and be a part of the Grief Hab community, please head on over to the Facebook group. We'd love to have you. Thanks again for spending your time with us, and see you next week.